So in this video we're talking about, should you be training if you're injured for MMA? And is it even worth it trying to get into training sessions, or are you just going to make yourself worse? But very quickly, just off the bat, I just want to say I am not a doctor. If you do get injured at any point and you are looking to train but you're not sure whether you should if you're injured, then definitely go see a doctor beforehand before you want to go down and go training, or at least talk to your coach. In this video I'm just giving you advice, I'm just giving what I done, saying what I done as a fighter and competing in MMA, and what I try and tell my students when they come to me with an injury. But like I said, anything serious, anything you are a little bit concerned about, definitely go see a doctor before you come training. Don't just take what I'm saying as advice, okay? Just putting it out there to begin with, right? Also, very quickly, subscribe and thumbs up. So, should you train if you're injured? I don't care what injury you have, you can definitely train. Seriously, 100%. You could definitely do something. Now, before you click off or do any hate speech in the comments or anything like that, just listen to the end of the video so you can see what I mean and what I'm talking about. Now, there are different sorts of injuries. There are more extreme injuries to less extreme injuries. Now, so obviously depending on what injuries you have is depending on what you can do. So as a bit of a rule of thumb, jiu-jitsu and wrestling, it gets a lot more limited on what you can do. But for striking, however, there's a lot more things you can do. So let's talk about back to the injuries anyway, different sorts of injuries. Now, as a bit of a rule of thumb, anything from the head round the body is not good for training. Along the arms, as you get further out to your limbs, it's good for training. For example, if you break a finger, there's no reason why you can't strap that finger up and practice your striking for your MMA. So you've got your jabs, you can use your elbows, obviously you've got your knees, your kicks, all the other different things you can do. Obviously just not with punching with this hand, because you've broke your finger, so that would be smart to do. Again, wrestling and jiu-jitsu, sorry, that's kind of hard, so you might have to sit them ones out. But like I said, you could train with any sort of injury, and I'll explain more in a little while. So, going back, your legs, a little bit more difficult with your leg. Let's just say you break your leg. You do a Conor McGregor, you kick out with your shin, someone checks, you snap your ankle, whatever. You can't train because you broke a leg. Now obviously, doing stand-up, doing striking might be a little bit more difficult. There's no reason why you can't work on your strength and conditioning. If you're obviously not being able to use your legs and that, you could still, on crutches, go to the gym, you can still pump out weights. Now I've seen people do it and I think, fair play to you, I take my hats off to you. Like, that's the difference between someone who's really wanting it and someone who don't want it as much. Do you know what I mean? You could take, if you was to break your leg but you've got injuries in other places and you're a bit battered and worn and torn, then maybe, yeah, take that time off. That ain't a bad idea to take the time off. But if you break a leg and you're in shape and you're game and you're up for it, and get down that gym doing press-ups, doing weights, doing whatever you could do with your upper body. Now, like I said, as you're getting closer towards the body, it's harder and harder on things what to do. I've recently had a really, really bad neck injury to the point where I could barely turn my head like that. So almost all training was out. If you've hurt your back or if you broke your rib, I broke my ribs before, and again, nearly all training was out. Now, like I said at the start, but you could train with any injury, didn't I? I did say that. And what I'm about to say may seem really boring and a bit useless to some people, but I'll tell you what, this is what's going to split the people between the people who are going to do really, really well in MMA and in martial arts and progress into martial arts to people who may not. Now just say you are really badly injured, let's just say you've got a neck injury and you are really badly injured, you can't hardly do any sort of training at all. Like I said, my neck was so bad, I was moving like that, I could do hardly any training. But on the times when I would be training, I would be researching. I'd be researching all sorts. At first I was researching how I could try to sort my neck out with different physiotherapy techniques, different stretchings, different things like that. But there's so many videos out there on YouTube you can watch to help with your knowledge of not just the training aspect, but nutrition, all sorts. Anything that was going to up your level, anything that was going to make you a better martial artist, you can find online on the internet. So back to what I was saying about the wrestlers and jiu-jitsu players, obviously if you've got an injury, some of them injuries you can work through a little bit, but obviously depending on the severity of the injury, sometimes it's better to take the time off to heal. But if you're taking the time off to heal, you can research different positions. Maybe you're really struggling with triangle chokes, just for an example. Maybe you can research triangle chokes and something might come up. Someone might say something what you haven't thought of before, like you ain't been doing that position, or you ain't been able to catch people, or it might just be that you're not really good at triangles. I'm not good at triangles, I've got little legs and I just seem to find it hard to pull off triangles. So you could research other things. The point is, you're still using that time when you're meant to be training as that time in training. You're still going to be doing something. Like I said, even if it's researching, watching old fights. Watch old fights, practice giving advice. Pretend that one of your fighters is your student or something, or your mate, and you can give them advice. Even if you're not looking to coach it and you're just looking to fight, that will make you a better fighter. That will build up your fight IQ, and that will massively, massively help you when you're doing your training and when you're fighting yourself. Like, sometimes when I'm struggling with a move, I can't always get the grasp off myself. Sometimes visualising myself teaching someone, or I do actually try and teach someone, I tell someone about it, and you end up clocking on the move a little bit better yourself. You end up realising things what you might have not been doing quite correctly when you're doing it, or it just reminds you of these things. It reminds you of the steps you've got to take to do the move, so then you make sure you take them steps yourself next time. So anyway, going off a bit of a tangent there, but that is basically it. Rule of thumb, the closer away from the body it is with your injury, the more chance you've got of being able to actually train with the injury. The closer the injury is to your body, the less likely you are to be able to train. But don't waste that time. Don't waste that hour, 2 hours worth of training. Just think, I can't train, so I'm going to sit at home and eat ice cream. Try and make the best of the bad situation, and that will definitely help your game in the long run. If you want any other advice or tips or tricks to do with training and MMA and that, check out this link over here with this playlist and check out some others of my videos. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Smash that subscribe.